The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day 302 of Daily Deck Review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Bicycle Excellence playing cards. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we get. So here we have the Bicycle Excellence playing card, still fully sealed here. So we're going to have to crack that cellophane, grab it right there, and tear that cellophane off. If it wants to peel off. Okay, now that we have that off, you can see it's in a standard glossy finish tuck box. It's more of like a dark red kind of colorway. And it has like a little bit of kind of like a gradient. There's like a lighter red, and then fades off to like a darker red on the edges of the deck. And then you've got that gold kind of foiling on the front of the tuck box here, where it says Bicycle Excellent. And you got the big spade there, that kind of like wavy line design there, and a little bit of like design for a little border there. And it's slightly textured. You can feel a little bit of a texture. Nothing like too crazy. On the side it says excellent. Also a little pattern there and a spade. Other side is the exact same with the excellence, the little design and the spade. On the bottom you got the barcode and a little bit of information. It says manufactured by the United States Playing Company, made in the USA. And if you look at the barcode, it says excellence in the numbers and letters there. On the back, a little sneak peek of that back design there. And you got that same spade there, and it says air cushion finish. There was no seal. On the top, it says excellence. On that tuck flap, you got some corporate information, and it says elite playing cards. So I'm guessing these were made from elite playing cards. Then on the inner tuck flaps, you got the elite playing cards logo there. Once again, if we take the cards out of the box, on the inside of the tuck box, it is just plain white. Nothing too fancy or crazy going on inside there. And now that we took a look at the tuck box, now take a look at the cards. And first we'll start with that back design. Here we have a fully inked back design there. There's no standard white border, it's more of like a goldish yellow kind of border there. And it looks like a mirrored back design there. So you have like a kind of like a flower kind of little design there. And more of a circle, and then another kind of like flower design, some other intricate kind of little details and designs there. Some like almost like a circle design there, but it kind of gets cut off there, and then you get that little kind of border, that little like darker like red border there, and then the standard border, but in like that yellowish gold there, there. And then there's a mirrored back design, so if we were to flip it over, same design in both directions. Well, except for the only reason that it wouldn't be is because the cards are kind of off, like the borders are kind of off a little bit, but other than that, it looks to me like it's a mirrored back design. It was that intricate kind of elegant back design. And now for the cards you get. Here we start with the first Joker. It's kind of more like a goblin kind of Joker. It's more like a creepy Joker. Where he's kind of like saying shh there. And he's kind of got the little like staff in his hand. And it's more in like a goldish kind of like colorway there. And that's a Joker there. And the second Joker, pretty similar, same design, just a flipped, like the image is flipped to be facing the other way. It's more of a darker, kind of reddish kind of colorway there. That's a Joker there. And I noticed that all the cards so far have that little kind of border going around. So all the cards have that border. Then you got the custom Ace of Spades here, which is that kind of spade you've seen on the front of the tuck box. And it's that kind of golden kind of colorway. And it says excellent there at the bottom there. And they have the custom like little numbers there and pips there in the corner. So all the spades have that kind of like fancy kind of line design to it. And the cards have that kind of like flower design in the background. And that goes throughout the rest of the spades there. They're all in that golden kind of colorway. And the court card, Jack, Queen, and King of Spades. standard court card like faces, but they're slightly custom because they're lightly smaller, like shrunken down a little bit. They have a little bit of a gold border to it, so they could fit that other little kind of little side detail to it there. And they're more of like a gold and like a blue colorway. And then the Ace of Diamonds, fully custom there, with more like line work design inside. It has that same kind of flower like design in the background with the same like edge design, just in a like a dark red colorway. That goes with the rest of the diamonds. And then you get back to the court cards, Jack, Queen, King of Diamonds, same thing. Shrunken with that gold border. There, and they're more like a gold and a red colorway. And then the kings, the clubs, Jack, Queen, and King of clubs, same thing, gold border, and they're in that gold and blue colorway. And the rest of the clubs have that like custom line work design, same as the spades and the diamonds, and they're in that gold colorway. You can see the little design work a little bit better on the ace of clubs. And lastly, the hearts, Jack, Queen, and King of hearts, pretty standard court cards. They're just in that kind of gold and red colorway, a little gold kind of border. And then the hearts have that kind of line work design as well, and in that dark red colorway. You can see a little bit easier on the ace of hearts. And the last two cards in the deck, you got a little blank face. It's not like a double backer or nothing there. It's kind of like, say you had one of these cards, but without the pips on it. So you can see like the little background art, and then you just have those little side lines there, so a little gap card, and then you got a little elite playing cards add card. And now that I took a look at the cards, on the test, the handling. And like I always say with fully inked designs, they could be a little bit thicker, not always, but sometimes the ink could make the cards a little bit thicker. But first, we'll start. Oh, and one thing before we start, they're fully inked, like I mentioned. So that means the edges could chip a little bit and start turning a little bit white. But it is a lighter deck, so you won't notice it as much compared to like the darker, like the black inked decks where it's more visible. But now we'll start with the springs. Oh yeah, I gotta say, definitely, this is definitely a crushed stock because these flex and bend super easy. We got super easy springs, no trouble for anyone. Anyone can spring these straight out of the box. No issues there. And they're real nice and smooth. Now move on to the fans. Because of that, the cards having that little border on it, it can't really see any of the numbers or pips, but they still spread pretty evenly there. No issues with the fans. It's just you can't see the numbers or the pips, just the way they're set up. But now on to Pharaoh. A super smooth Pharaoh there, and they interlock the waves pretty flawlessly there. Now if we're a giant fan of that back design. Now for that reverse Pharaoh. Reverse Pharaoh wasn't as too bad, but they didn't interlock and weave as good. And I did have to lightly shuffle and push them together. But now for a giant fan of the faces. And now time for the riffle shuffle or bridge shuffle. Like I say, the Riffle Shuffles and Brick Shuffles are pretty smooth. No issues with the Riffle Shuffles or Brick Shuffles. So now we'll move on to the Packet Cuts. Like I say, the Packet Cuts are pretty nice. No real issues there. Pretty nice and smooth. Not overly slippery, but not over packety at the same time. Pretty average packet cuts. Most decks packet cut the same. There's no real difference there. Now for that one-handed cut or shoulder cut. And now for the dribble. Well, the dribbles are pretty nice. No real issues with the dribbles. Except for when they're face up like this. They're not as grippy. They were sliding in my hands a little bit. But not too bad. They still work pretty good though. So pretty good dribbles. And the deck review tradition has continued. The one card is on the floor somewheres. Okay, and now on to that spread fan. And lastly, spread the cards on the table. Well, I gotta say, it's an interesting custom deck of bicycle cards. You got that interesting colorway for the back design, which is okay. It's definitely not my favorite kind of colorway or favorite designed custom bicycle decks that I looked at so far. But I'm not saying it's terrible. You're definitely gonna have to get used to the design and the colorway. There's like a dark reddish brown kind of darkish red. Yeah, darkish reddish brown and like some kind of goldenish yellow kind of true white colorway there, which is an odd kind of colorway, I guess. Not terrible. And then you got the faces here. The faces don't look too bad because you got this clubs and the spades, which are that kind of goldish kind of colorway. And then you got the hearts and the diamonds, which are like the darkish reddish brown kind of colorway. Not terrible. At least it's fully custom. And I like the jokers though. Jokers aren't too bad. And all the aces are lightly custom there. They got like the bigger pips there. Overall, not a terrible design. Definitely not the best designed deck I've seen out there. But it's still not terrible. It's not the worst. But it's also not the greatest in my opinion. But the handling, they still handle pretty fantastic straight out of the box. They already feel like broken in for the springs because there's no stiffness to them at all. They're nice and like flexible and bendy. Nice springs straight out of the box, so like a crushed stock. And they feel fantastic in the hands still. Nice and smooth with everything you do there. So with that being said, it has okay design like I mentioned, but the handling is the better part of it because they handle pretty good. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. This has been a day 302 of your daily deck review. This has been the Bicycle Excellence playing cards from Elite Playing Cards, and I'm the Canadian Card Collector signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.